Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. Today, we are continuing our ongoing coverage of the war between the Russian Federation and Ukraine. Now, as I speak today, and I would say over the last 24 hours, we have been hearing some incredibly ludicrous suggestions that the Ukrainian armed forces were planning some sort of amphibious operation on the Crimean Peninsula. So first, why are we hearing this discussion take place about such a bold and audacious operation? Well, one of the biggest reasons is the defeated Ukrainian counteroffensive. Look, the Ukrainian military is stalled south of Kyiv, and those forces that are still in that pocket are shelled essentially 24 hours a day. Yes, the Ukrainians are still attempting probing attacks, reconnaissance in force. However, the information that we have is that Ukrainian fighting morale is incredibly low, especially in this area, in the area near Staromyorsk. Now, that is why I believe, we here at IMFAN believe, that we are hearing this talk of this, again, this very aggressive, planned operation to retake the Crimean Peninsula through an amphibious operation. Now, we have also heard that that operation would be really designed to take smaller objectives on the Crimean Peninsula. So why is this utterly insane and should probably be categorized as a lesson in insanity? I can't turn this map upside down, or I would. So, the Ukrainians, in order to take... Let me pause. Let me back up. Let me discuss this in a different manner. Give you a different context. Let's say I am the battlefield commander, the warfighter, in charge of a U.S. operation designed to retake the Crimean Peninsula. I have at my disposal all the resources of the U.S. military. How am I going to do this? Well, the first part of this operation would be a large-scale bombing campaign designed to degrade and destroy Russian forces located in the Crimean Peninsula. This campaign would probably last at least 2 weeks. Now, the Ukrainians do not have those types of assets to launch a large-scale bombing campaign against the Crimea to degrade and destroy the Russian military. They don't have that capability. They don't really have much of an air force. Now, what size force would I need as a U.S. commander to take control of, say, large town and maintain a presence on the Crimean Peninsula? I would at least need one fully strength Marine Amphibious division. So right now the Marine Corps essentially has 2 Marine divisions. I would need one of those. At least. The bare minimum. Now, look, I understand planning this operation in terms through a U.S. perspective is also kind of asinine. Because it's not going to happen. And that's the same reason it's not going to happen for the Ukrainians. Landing a group of personnel to take a small or mid-sized town such as this one, what would be the purpose? Again, the Ukrainians would need to land in excess of 10,000 troops in whatever area they were planning on holding, unless it was just a design raid to land on the Crimea, attack a Russian base, and then to withdraw. Now that could be done with a much smaller force, and in all likelihood, the Ukrainians may be able to launch such an operation. But again, very small scale. I'm talking a company-sized element at best. An in-and-out raid. They've done some of those operations in the past, and they could probably do it again. But, say, seizing control of a town in the Crimea and then holding that town, I think what you have is war makers over at the Pentagon, civilian planners who've never been in the military, have no concept of the operational art, coming up with some of these absolutely far-fetched operations that could, in terms of their perception, help the Ukrainians regain some sort of initiative from this failed counteroffensive that they're trying to recover from. So again, the capability for the Ukrainians is just not there. The capability to land thousands of Ukrainian troops on an amphibious landing operation on the Crimean Peninsula just does not exist. Yes, they can land company-sized elements, but a multi-brigade amphibious operation is completely outside the size and scope of what the Ukrainians have available in terms of resources and trained capability. Amphibious operations are incredibly difficult. Incredibly difficult. Immediately, if you are commanding an amphibious operation and you successfully land either unopposed or opposed on an enemy beach, you immediately are going to face counterattacks. And you immediately lose your ability to supply those forces for an extended period of time. And the Ukrainians would absolutely not be able to support and supply its forces in the Crimean Peninsula through a Black Sea route. Just not going to happen. So that's where we sit for today. Again, I just wanted to go over that. I had heard this making its rounds, and I heard it again on a less reputable site, Ukrainian supporting site. This guy has no military experience, and it's glaringly apparent that he just has no idea what he's talking about, and he's coming up with these hypothetical Ukrainian amphibious invasions of Ukraine. But at the same time, there's talk of this out there that this is being looked at. And I'm sure the Russians are laughing. I'm sure they are laughing their asses off at the idea of this. So, anyway, just wanted to go over that. We will continue to watch what is happening on the ground in the continued war. Thanks for joining us, as always. More to come very, very soon. And as always, have a good day.